accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is from the Ramesvara 1981 interview on history of ISKCON from Krishna.org. Ramesvara Das is a Srila Prabhupada disciple from the first generation who met Prabhupada personally. Krishna speaks directly to Srila Prabhupada. That evening in 1976 he wouldn't tell us. Then another part of that visit was news reporters coming to visit Prabhupada. I remember one incident in particular. This was printed in Prabhupada Remembrances in BTG, Back to Godhead magazine. So it can be referred to. We had this reporter who just could not believe that any human being could actually know God and speak with God. He just didn't believe that those things could happen, that God speaks to somebody. A person can hear God speaking. He was very doubtful and he was challenging Prabhupada in the interview about this. I spoke up at that time and I said, well, according to the Bhagavatam, the intelligence of the living being comes from God, knowledge, remembrance and forgetfulness comes from God, and intelligence is described in the Bhagavatam as a form, direction of the Lord. So what's happening is God is within the heart of the devotee as well as the non-devotee. But for the devotee, God is actually transcendentalizing, spiritualizing his intelligence. So through his intelligence, which is a form, direction of the Supersoul, the devotee knows exactly what to do and what is actually under the direction of God. So I explained it like that. Prabhupada looked at me and frowned and said, no, it is not like that. It is not like that at all. Why do you say like that? God speaks to his devotee. He speaks just like I'm speaking, and you can hear if you are pure. And the reporter just couldn't believe what Prabhupada was saying. He said, you mean God is speaking to you? Yes. You mean he tells you what to do? Yes. You mean when you make decisions, like if you want to appoint somebody to a particular position in your society, that is because God spoke to you and told you to do it? Yes. It was very heavy. Prabhupada was revealing something that he very rarely revealed. He was revealing what his exalted position was, and he was revealing that he is always established in this consciousness, and that the decision that he makes, not only when he was writing his books, which we knew was like that, we all knew that Prabhupada's books writing was like that. The next paragraph, the books are coming from Krishna, about the origin of Srila Prabhupada's transcendental books, like the Bhagavad-gita as it is, and the Srimad-Bhagavatam, plus purport. Quote, there were two ways he knew. One is this very amazing letter that were two ways we knew. One is this very amazing letter that Prabhupada wrote. Let's see if I can find it. It's a letter that Prabhupada wrote to all governing body commissioners on May 19th, 1976. This is a most amazing letter. My dear GBC disciples, please accept my blessings. Over the past 10 years I have given the framework, and now we have become more than the British Empire. Even the British Empire was not as expansive as we. They had only a portion of the world, and we have not completed expanding. We must expand more and more unlimitedly. But I must now remind you that I have to complete the translation of the Srimad-Bhagavatam. This is the greatest contribution. Our books have given us a respectable position. People have no faith in this church or temple worship. Those days are gone. Of course, we have to maintain the temples as it is necessary to keep our spirits high. Simply intellectualism will not do. There must be practical purification. So I request you to relieve me of management responsibilities more and more, so that I can complete the Srimad-Bhagavatam translation. If I am always having to manage, then I cannot do my work on the books. It is document. I have to choose each word very soberly. And if I have to think of management, then I cannot do this. I cannot be like these rascals who present something mental concoction to cheat the public. Right there he is saying these books are not mental concoction. Quote, I am choosing the words carefully. They are coming from Krishna. He has to be free from all other thoughts on his mind of management, so that he can deeply enter into a meditative trance and hear Krishna speaking. So this task will not be finished without the cooperation of my appointed assistants, the GBC, temple presidents and sannyasis. I have chosen my best man to be GBC, and I do not want that the GBC should be disrespectful to the temple presidents. You can naturally consult me, but if the basic principle is weak, how will things go on? So please assist me in the management so that I can be free to finish the Srimad-Bhagavatam, which will be our lasting contribution to the world. Next paragraph. When Prabhupada speaks, God is speaking to me through him. So from letters like this, and also from the purports of the Chaitanya Charitamrita describing how Vrindavan Das was writing and how Krishna Das was writing, Prabhupada explains transcendental literature is not written by ordinary men. It is written by men who are God realized. God speaks the book within their heart, and they are simply recording the message of God in that way. So the combination of these kinds of letters and Prabhupada's purports, we already knew that when Prabhupada writes his books, is just as if you were standing or sitting next to Krishna himself, and Krishna is just speaking. It is on that level. But here, in this conversation, Prabhupada reveals that he is on that plane, not only when he is writing his books, but even when he is arranging practical things, like the structure of ISKCON, the leadership of ISKCON, practical decisions, when to buy a building, when not to buy it. Prabhupada revealed that even those practical things, his level of relationship with Krishna is so advanced that he is in touch with Krishna at every single matter. And that's what he revealed in that meeting, and it was just overwhelming. Not only did I feel foolish and insignificant, but that same feeling of awe that I always had for Prabhupada, that awe that this person is with God. When he speaks, God is speaking to me through him. It was just so clear, and my whole relationship with Prabhupada was based on that understanding of Prabhupada, that whenever I see Prabhupada, the way he walks and holds himself, the way he sings and chants, the way he speaks, that is God communicating through Prabhupada. And I was always very careful and very much in a state of awe and reverence, because Prabhupada was training me to see him like that. To me, that was a very significant statement, unquote. So you can see here that these books are fully transcendental. They're not ordinary literature. And my challenge is, are you really so foolish to think that these self-made, bogus GBC gurus are on the same level as Prabhupada, speaking to Krishna directly? This is all cheating and lying to get money, to get worship, to get position. They're all cheaters, liars, and of the worst kind, because they are presenting themselves as acharyas, as pure devotees of God. And they are not God realized, they're just faking it to cheat the people who have faith in these books, and who just come to ISKCON, because these books came from ISKCON at a time when Prabhupada was still in charge. So you can see, Prabhupada is not an ordinary human being. He's speaking with Krishna directly. And he's not dead. This is another lie of ISKCON. Prabhupada is not dead and gone. Simply by reading this book, you will become Krishna conscious, and you can be initiated by Prabhupada directly. All you need to do is read these books. And then Prabhupada will transmit Divya Gyan to you, and you will be properly initiated. So you can also take a formal initiation later as per the Ritvik system. But if that's not possible in your area, simply by reading the books, you will be initiated by Srila Prabhupada, not by any small, insignificant, envious GBC so-called guru. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please don't be so foolish. and get cheated, please take shelter of Prabhupada's books. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Lord Chaitanya. Hare Krishna.